Once you are in here, go ahead and let me know, and we shall get started. Yo, yo, little Dredo in the cut. Okay. All right, man. So we can just get started here. So, taking a look at NQ. So, NQ broke out of that trend, this daily trend that we've been creating here. Bijan, soft, buddy. Help her down. And we're retesting it right now. So if we go to the hourly and we take a look at this trend here, we are basically retesting it right now. That's where we had our rejection. So this is where we need to watch. What happens at open is going to be important. If we break and hold over the back into this trend, we're going to look at this level right here as the next resistance. So this is right around 25,700 up to 734. So we'll look at 734 as the hourly area right here. We do have this downtrend that's being created here, which we'll see better once we go to a shorter time frame. So if we go to the 5-minute, see we have this. Which we need to move back up into. If you look at our extension and retracement, right now we are right on that 61.8% retracement from this move down. Right there. So we need to break over and hold over this 25,650 for upside movement, and then we need to hold these retracement areas right here. Really, this support right here needs to hold as well, 25,500. So we have a decent range here in the middle right here, but if you look at the larger time frame, this looks like the first pullback before continuation, which is also looking like a little pennant here on the 4-hour, like that. So we may, after hours, just trade in between this box, between 623 and 500, up and down before we break in a direction. We also really haven't really created a trend yet on this move down. We're still waiting for some sideways before a trend is created, which could possibly be somewhere over here, right around this 610 area to create a trend. So right now, really, it's a trend discovery phase. And this, if we do break below here, where would our supports be? We like this as a support, 25,290-ish level would be a support. And then we have this level right here, which is 25,000 on the dot. Now we have a lot of news with Iran and China, and what's going to happen there, we don't know. So if the market is concerned, tech will obviously take a hit, and I think that's probably what we're starting to see now. So NQ, I would just be very cautious on the long side, just with all the news going on right now. But I think everybody's more worried about silver right now. So let's go over to silver. Where are we going to take the trade on silver? Okay. So let's add VWAP because I've noticed that it's been respecting VWAP while it's in price discovery. Hey. Do you need help down here? Okay, so this is where I believe we held 61.8. So here's where I want to draw my extension. 104 is the 1.618 from this leg. From this leg, $95.68 area, which we're almost there, a couple more dollars. 95.68, 96 area. So I will mark this area as my potential long-term area before that 104 area. So we'll leave that there. And now we want to look for any micro trends that may be lining up with that area as well too. I want to look for any micro trends, and I want to look for any micro extensions as well too. We are getting divergence here. So if you take a look here, we're getting, this is the hourly. Every push is getting weaker and weaker. It's not getting stronger. So that's something that we need to make sure we just keep in mind. I mean, and every push up has been a very nice pullback. So this is the current trend that we're trading right now. This is the upside of that trend, and we're actually right on it. So we are right on it here on the upside of this channel. So this seems like a good short area right around here, 9.3. We may go up here 96 at some point this week, right? Keep moving up, but where we are right now with this upside channel resistance being here, with this exhaustion here we're seeing on the 1 hour. Let's see the 4 hour. 4 hour has yet to pull back yet, so 4 hours still looking good. Okay, baby, sit. I know, you stop standing up, okay? So this area that we're at right now actually looks like a decent short area. So at open, I'd be looking to see how price reacts. I'd be looking at the smaller time frame. Again, look at this divergence on the 30-minute. Every peak is weaker and weaker and weaker. Let's look at our extension from this micro extension level. As you can see here, if this leg, this lines up right with this top right here, right around 94.050. Okay, that's one extension on one of the pullbacks. Let's see where we've had another trend. Let's go to the 5-minute. Okay, let's look at this. I don't like that one. Separation pullback. This is the only one that looks decent, but I still don't like that. So what I'm trying to find is a trend that was broken cleanly that we can draw our extension from. And with this price movement where we're just parabolic. We're just parabolic at this point. And so we're trying to just look around for indicators. We're just trying to look around for indicators that are telling us where we can land, but I need the retracement level to match up with our pullbacks, and they're not. This one kind of is right here, but still it's not clean. When I look for extensions, I look for clean retracements. So let's go to the 30-minute. This is where we had the breakout. This is where it looks like we had a trend. So let me draw it from here. Okay, so this one right here we held decently. So let's draw from there. 61.8. Move up, move down. That's where we held there. So this one is telling us 95.5. Let's check out this one. So this one held. So let's do this extension from here to here to here. 95. So a lot of things are lining up with 95 right now. So 95 tends to be the number that we're seeing. And then let's look at our channel that we drew previously. Upside channel. Downside channel. Wherever they want to put this. Okay. And what you're looking for is just multiple things to just align within a certain area. You see how we have this trend right here that broke? We haven't retested yet. This is something you can draw. Okay. If we hit this, we are going to hold below it, but it just seems like we're not going to hit this one for a while. I wonder if gold has something cleaner for us. Let's go to gold real quick. So gold had this pullback, which we held to 78.6. So let's see if where this extension takes us on gold. Right here, actually. So gold is right at the 100% extension from this move. Right at 4660. So gold looks ready for a short. Right here, 4660. So again, I'm going to show you what things I look for. So you see here how we had this is the start of this trend that we had up here. Right before this is a clean trend and a clean breakthrough. When I see a clean trend and a clean breakthrough, I'm looking for one of the Fibonacci retracement levels to hold. This one held perfectly on the 78.6, and I want it to look clean. I don't want it to be, oh, it went over, went under a little bit. I want it to be clean. Once it's clean, then I know the upside extension is going to be clean. I want a clean trade. That's the main thing that I'm looking for. So now that I know that that's clean, now I want to draw my extension from here to here to here. And I see that right here is where we have our 100% extension from that breakaway pullback. So that's one. So now we have, so that's right around, so I drew it, so we know that area stays there. 4660. Right here. So now I want to see if anything else, any of the micro trends line up with that area. So here's a micro trend that we have right here. Look at this again, held perfectly on the 50%. So start of the breakaway, top, pull back to the 50%. So I'm going to draw my extension from here to here. So this one says 47.22. So I'm going to draw that there. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. Okay, so these are the two levels so far from a micro and a 30-minute that are showing as the extension level. We also have this trend right here that we broke through that we're holding below. So you see this? This is the one that we mapped earlier. This is very unlikely that this trend will break, that this will break over this trend retest. So typically what happens is when you have a trend being retested to the upside, like this, you see a test somewhere here, and then you see the market pull back. It doesn't mean the market's going to melt, but you'll see like a pullback consolidation that gives more room for price extension. This still stays intact. So when this aligns, when this trend line right here, which is a retest of the breakthrough trend, gets tested again, we want this to align with one of our supply and demand areas here. So we have a 100% extension here on this micro trend. We have a 100% extension here on the 30-minute trend, which is a different trend. And we have this line right here that's being respected. So right around this area actually looks pretty good for a short, right where we're at on gold. So what I'd be looking for now is, as I look at the 1 minute chart, am I starting to see some divergences? So we had some really good divergence here, if you can see here, right? Continued pressure against the peaks, but less buy pressure. But right here, we still haven't peaked yet. So I do think we get one more move up into this area right here, this 4666, 4660 area. I want to see us diverge here. I want to see us break over this high. But I want sell strength to decline. I want to hold right around this area and then maybe get one last one into this 466. And then that's where we'll look for it. And then gold typically has been leading the way on these pullbacks instead of silver. But silver, again, is, if you take a look at it, no divergence yet here on the 1 minute. So we want to see us break a little bit. We want to see us break this peak right here. We want to see us break this peak, go up to this channel high. So you see here, let's make sure we drew our channel. So this is the peak of this is the high of the channel. This is the high of the channel. So right up here. And I'm going to look for divergence right up here. This looks like a good short area on silver. 94-ish area on silver. And we also have, as you can see here, so this is going to be an inflection point right here. This is a micro trend breakdown retest area. So this needs to hold, and if this holds, right, move sideways a little bit, come up here. I want this to test right around this area. Then we'll take the short. If we gap down, then we got to take a look and see what we're going to do. So again, things that we're looking for. We're looking for supply and demand. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of supply. There's no supply and demand to the upside on silver. So it's hard for you to identify that other than highs and lows that were created through a structure being created. And then the next thing is we want to look for fib levels, right? Where are extensions at? Where did we hold? Where did we pull back from? And where are we extending to? This is our first peak, first low, peak, breakaway. This is why we held here, 618. Look at that line up there. Next area is 94.70, which can line up perfectly with this area right here if we move sideways and then break back up to here, right around 94.5-ish or so. Then once we move into the price zone, different price zone, now we're looking for our divergence. Now we want to see momentum shifting. We want to get confirmation in our indicators. We want to get moving average breaks. We want to get MACD crossovers. Whatever you're using, we want to make sure that once it gets into our zone, we're looking for the momentum shift. That's the main piece. And then we're looking for volume to paint a different message on the opposing candles, right? So if it's a trending market to the upside, we're looking for sell side, heavy sell side candles when we are in these zones. And that's something that you could see here when we had this first pullback. Lots of heavy selling volume, heavy selling volume. I do think we're getting very close to a decent sized reversal. And the reason being is because of this area right here. This area right here. Yeah. I think we're there, boys. I do think that we are there. So this is usually what you see when you see the start of some sort of top head and shoulders reversal pattern. Is you'll see the shoulder created, see heavy selling, quick separation from this neckline up to here. And so my thesis, which can happen, by the way, let's go to the 30-minute, is that we create this holds, come right here, come back down to here, come back up to here, hold this again, and then break back down. And the purpose of this movement, and the reason why the head and shoulders pattern works so well, is because it does two things. First thing is it allows you to reverse positions multiple times. So you can reverse position here, you can reverse position here, and then you can reverse position here. Second thing it does is it traps buyers here. Traps buyers here. Because people think the market's going to continuation because we're breaking out of a high. But then the head then just reverses here. Then what happens is once it gets here and then it bounces, buyers again get trapped here and allow people to reverse their positions or get into sell positions. To sell, you must have buyers. And then it moves the area down. So I do think that we're there. I think we're starting to form it based off of this specifically. And seeing that we've had now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 upside swings over almost 15% move, and every single swing has been weaker and weaker and weaker every single time, tells me that we are getting close. The problem is that it's just so hard to not over leverage on silver, because it could move a little bit more. But look at this trend, man. This trend is ready to break. Once this trend breaks, downside targets become this area, this area. This area looks really good right here. And then we have all the way back to 82. Which is very likely. I mean, we could come all the way back to here. It 100% could happen. So we will see. We got 15 minutes. There's also some news coming out on silver. Silver news. So solid price gains for gold and silver. Soars over $90. Silver's record high. Silver hits new high price Tuesday as gold steadies amid Fed investigation. Gold and silver extend record-breaking rally. Silver nears $100 on global shortages. Blistering metals rally sends gold, silver, copper to records. CME to launch cash-settled 100-ounce silver futures. Let's see if there's... And ChatGPT works well for news. Like, if you don't want to go and look at stuff, be like, is there any new news today for silver that could make it bearish? Okay, so Asian stocks, gold, silver hit records. Fragile yen. Here, let's look at this together. Okay. Okay, let's look at this together. Okay, so Asian stocks, gold, silver hits record. Fragile yen, Chinese yen, spurs intervention worries. Interesting. Right? So China's been the one that's been pumping silver, but that directly impacts their own currency. That's interesting. Okay, so now as we get higher and higher, it's, yeah, the baby's take, right? She knows. I'll tell her. I'll ask her to just press a button. Some recent analysis shows silver price momentum may be overextended on charts and susceptibility to downside if buyers lose theme, which is happening. RSI diverges, potentially signaling pullback risk below support levels like 86.85 and deeper toward the 80 area if broken. CME Group has raised margin requirements multiple times to manage risk. Higher margin costs can dampen speculative demand and cause weaker players to liquidate positions, which is bearish pressure in the short term. This normal stuff. On the Indian Multi-Commodity Exchange, March 2026, silver futures fell 3% in a single session. Interesting. Reflecting localized sell pressure. So in India, silver futures is actually dropping. Okay. But dominant news today is still bullish. Despite those bearish flags, silver is setting new all-time highs above 90 an ounce, driven by expected Fed rate cuts and broader risk-off demand. Record metal prices alongside gold and other base metal point to risk-on flows into commodities. Analysts caution that the rally might partly be driven by FOMO and speculative behavior, meaning if sentiment shifts, a correction could be sharp. So bearish pressure could strengthen if any of the following material is below 86.85. So what that tells us is that this 86.85 level that we just mapped here, this one right here, this is still a healthy pullback area. So when we're trading this, if we pull back to 86.85, hold this 38.2, we are still in a healthy uptrend. If we break the 86.85 level, right around where we have our 38%, then we're going to have to watch 83. If 83 breaks, then that's when we could probably pull back to retest the breakout, which would be right around 82-ish area here. So I agree with this 86.85 sentiment. And that was right on par with where we have our retracement level here. So we shall see. Let's go to copper. Man, look at that dump on copper, 580 to 449. It's basically 25%. And then now we are breaking that. So copper looks pretty. Copper is about to break its recent highs. Is this all-time high? Let's go to monthly. Yeah, so copper is right at all-time high. Damn, I'm wondering if the next move is copper. I mean, look at this. Like, does copper go to 30, 40 bucks? Let's ask about copper. What about copper? Here's the latest. Gold, silver, and copper. Copper prices are hitting all-time highs alongside the other metals like gold and silver. Markets grapple with supply issues and geopolitical uncertainty. Copper futures saw increased trading volume, but slightly lower open interest. Okay. Speculative trading is very strong and contributing to the rally. Early heavy speculative froth. Analysts have noted that copper price surge looks overextended recently, with benchmarks climbing much faster than fundamentals would normally justify. Some reports show China's copper imports falling as high prices deter industrial buyers. So we may have a good short opportunity here on copper. Rapid swings in futures and positions, macro headwinds like other commodities. Copper's price in USD, a stronger dollar, or unexpected hawkish stance by central banks can dampen metals. Supply deficit narrative still strong, and fundamental demand drivers remains intact. EV, grid, AI, data centers. Huh. Okay. It'll be interesting to watch. Yeah. So I think the question is do we watch copper and start watching copper now? I mean, we are up in the last 6 months. We are up. Copper seems like silver. Copper is up about, what is this? 50%. So we shall see. But that's it. That's the analysis. So for silver, we are looking at a very good short area that we're coming into, which is this channel. So I always draw my channels. Channels typically always get respected, especially when they're this pretty. So this pretty channel. We're right here on the top side. We have our extension level. We have our extension levels here. You see this pullback here. Lining up with this 94.93 area, kind of like 95 area-ish. So everything that all of my extensions that I've drawn have put us right around this area right here for a short. So we're right there. We just have to make sure that we don't fuck it up by going in too heavy, too early. Just look at this hourly divergence, man. Like this is, if I saw this on the 1 minute, I would take the trade in a heartbeat. The problem is that there's just so much slippage. Like you need to have like $40,000-$50,000 in your balance to be able to just sell and hold it and allow the drawdown to happen. Otherwise, you really have to pinpoint those entries. And as you can see here, we're retest. So I think the short's in play, y'all. Look at this trend retest right here. So we'll see what happens at open. But I'm going to jump off now. I'm going to change my baby's diaper, and then we shall see what happens at open, y'all.